Greetings, my friends. In today's episode, I want to give you an update on the Twitter board members and their fight against Elon Musk and his bid to take over the platform. But as I was doing the research, I kept saying to myself, I really dislike using Twitter. And let me tell you why. I saw a tweet from Jordan Peterson, and it's that video that's making the rounds showing people in Shanghai being forcibly removed from their apartments so that the government can turn them into quarantine facilities and achieve their zero COVID policy. Now, let's really look at this for a moment. In China, the CCP seals their citizens in their homes, they are aggressively being tested, they are forced into quarantine camps when they test positive, and they are trapped inside with no food. There's even footage of people plunging to their deaths from buildings because of starvation. And on top of that, they are evicting people out of their homes. And this is what Jordan Peterson is attempting to draw people's attention to. The fact that something so devastating is occurring to human beings, but can be so easily dismissed by people, and then used as an opportunity to say something extremely toxic to Jordan Peterson, is why I dislike using Twitter. God forbid people use it as an opportunity to find common ground with each other in the agreement of the importance of living in a free country. But unfortunately, this morally depraved behavior is all I see on Twitter. It doesn't matter if it's someone on the right or the left. People are expressing themselves in a disrespectful and dishonorable way. Whatever happened to respecting your elders? The point I guess I'm trying to make is that Twitter isn't the problem. Twitter is just providing the platform that facilitates communication, and sure, I agree that they wrongfully censor opinions that don't align with their own. I know for a fact the eye-opener was canceled from Twitter. But ultimately, they don't force anyone to type rude and disrespectful comments. The audience is already showing up to the platform with the desire or even the intent to be toxic. And if anything, Twitter is just exposing humanity's fall from grace. So let me ask you this. Does Elon Musk buying Twitter solve or change the true problem we are faced with? Okay, my friends, let's take a closer look together. The unending race towards buying the Twitter company by Elon Musk is now turning into a classic chess game after Twitter's board of directors threatened to fight back Musk's hostile takeover by executing the famous poison pill strategy. The board said if Musk takes over more than 15% stake of the company, then they will execute the strategy by selling the Twitter shares in the market at a much discounted price, thus making the takeover of the company more expensive and difficult for Musk. However, some experts are predicting that the board members might be using the pill tactic to increase the offer price presented by Musk. Musk, on the other hand, is threatening to cut the salaries of every board member to zero, as by stating it would save the company $3 million every year. According to Twitter's public filings, each non-employee board member earned around $225,000 in stock in 2021 and also received $12,500 in cash, plus extra fees ranging from $2,500 to $7,500 for serving on various boards and committees. Being the biggest shareholder of the Twitter company, Musk made a cryptic tweet by hinting towards making a tender offer that allows him to make direct appeal to all the shareholders to sell their shares at a specific price. In response to his tweet of tender offer, a senior executive of an investment management firm in New York said, Musk will either convince major shareholders to get them to his side either by taking his tender offer or by completely removing the current board. The deal has become more intense after the richest man in the world has managed to secure the required funding for buying the entire Twitter company. As per the new regulatory filing, Musk has secured $25.5 billion in debt financing from Morgan Stanley and other financial institutions like the Bank of America, Barclays, and Mizuho. The rest of the $21 billion he committed to providing through his own equity financing. Musk also sent a voicemail to the board by stating he was not playing the back and forth game, as the board stated that they would accept an offer if it is in the best interest of Twitter and its shareholders. Musk replied to the board that his offer to buy Twitter for $43 billion is a high price and their shareholders will love it. As the pressure to reach a valid decision is heavily increasing on the board, many experts are presenting their valuable advice to the company. Goldman Sachs, who who already made an offer to buy Twitter before Musk for $30 per share, is now advising the Twitter company to accept Musk's offer of $54.20 per share as quickly as possible. Bill Alpert, a senior writer at Barron's Magazine, said, "Unless you are like Musk and want to own Twitter for idealistic reasons, you should let him have it. He won't ruin it, so you can do so with a clear conscience." Steve Forbes, chairman and CEO of Forbes Media, said, "If Musk withdraws his bid, Twitter stock would collapse." This statement is also backed by a 2011 paper written by Harvard law professor Lucian Bebchuk. He said the empirical evidence indicates that when directors use their powers to block offers, it often proves detrimental to shareholders' interest. Boards that reject premium bids fail to generate optimal long-term returns for their shareholders. Now the question is, how much does the board of directors care about their shareholders? Well, you will be astonished to know that Twitter co-founder Jack Dorsey recently said that the board of directors has been consistently non-participant in the functioning of the company. Cara Frederick, who is the director of Tech Policy Center at the Heritage Foundation, said, "The board members are all about maintaining the status quo, as they ignore their fiduciary duties to maximize shareholder value and act within the best interest of Twitter as a company." According to internal sources, the list of board members who oppose the offer of Elon Musk has been revealed. To name a few, they are Brett Taylor, chairman of Twitter's independent board; Parag Agrawal, CEO of Twitter; Fei-Fei Li, professor of computer science at Stanford University; Robert Zoellick, former president of World Bank; David Rosenblatt, CEO of FirstBids.com. After noticing the Twitter takeover battle, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has favored Elon Musk's offer by giving warning to the Twitter company, stating that his state will make Twitter's board accountable for breaching fiduciary duty by adopting the tactic of poison pill. After careless actions from the Biden administration to fill the entire country with criminal organizations, 26 Republican governors decided to create their own border strike force to target illegal aliens entering the United States. The action was taken immediately after Customs and Border officials released their March statistics that showed the highest number of Border Patrol arrests of 209,906 at the southern border since 2000. The historical move was led by Arizona Governor Doug Ducey and Texas Governor Greg Abbott that united the states of Alabama, Alaska, Florida, and others towards this action. A memorandum of understanding was also signed by all the participating governors, who pledged together to serve as a force multiplier to target cartels and criminal networks financially and operationally. The agreement states, in the absence of federal leadership, states are partnering together to create the American Governors Board Security Force to disrupt and dismantle transnational criminal organizations by increasing collaboration, improving intelligence, investing in analysis, combating human smuggling, and stopping drug flow in our states. Further, it said, together governors will improve public safety, protect victims from horrific crimes, reduce the amount of drugs in our communities, and alleviate the humanitarian crisis at the southern border. To ensure the process runs smoothly, the governors have decided to share sensitive information and assist each other to dismantle any drug corridor existing at the border of each state. Other states can also request assistance from the participating states. However, each state will be responsible for their own cost. The participating states are also planning to review their state laws regarding human trafficking, drug traffickers, transnational criminal organizations to ensure such crimes are handled as soon as possible. For example, Arizona does not have laws against human smuggling. As Title 42 that was passed by President Trump to stop migrants is going to be lifted in May this year, the governors are predicting that the level of migrants crossing into the United States could double the size that are entering currently. Many governors are blaming the Biden administration for their careless actions towards letting the crime rate increase in the country. Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves expressed his anger on Twitter by writing, "Despite what the Biden administration would have you believe, criminals, drugs, and human trafficking don't just stay at the border. They make their way to every state. We are all border states now, and we are going to protect ourselves. Idaho Governor Brad Little, while pointing fingers at Biden, said, "America's governors are stepping up. Our multiple state partnership is designed to disrupt and dismantle the transnational criminal organizations taking advantage of the open border with Mexico." To find out whether your state is included in the list or not, here is the complete list of 26 states that are taking necessary measures. Special counsel John Durham's case against the former Clinton campaign lawyer Michael Sussman for making false statements against Trump's secret relations with Russia has become more intense after the filing of almost 24 separate documents by the Hillary Clinton associates recently. The sudden jump in the filings came into picture as a response to the request made by special counsel to disclose the email conversations between the parties. The recent responses are filed by former Clinton campaign chairman John Podesta, campaign manager Robbie Mook, and Clinton campaign lead lawyer Mark Elias, also contractor Fusion GPS, the Clinton campaign itself, and the Democratic National Committee. As there are a lot of parties involved, this brings us to the conclusion that the email conversations and the unusual attorney-client privilege excuse given by them for holding their communications consist of highly sensitive information. It seems clear that all these parties were constantly communicating with each other when they were targeting Trump's election in 2016. The Michael Sussman case became much weaker when special counsel John Durham presented further hard evidence that proves he also pushed the CIA in 2017 to start baseless investigations against Trump after making the same attempt with the FBI in 2016. Now, to be more specific, Sussman, on February 9, 2017, said to CIA that his contacts had gathered information indicating that a Russian-made Yota phone has been seen by them connecting to Wi-Fi from the Trump Tower in New York, as well as from a location in Michigan, at the same time that then candidate Trump was believed to be at these locations, and that the Yota phone was seen connecting to Wi-Fi from the executive office of the president or the White House in December 2016. However, CIA later concluded that the information given by Sussman was not technically plausible, was user-created, contains serious gaps, and conflicted with itself. Now, if we look at the responses filed by the parties, you will be surprised to know how it reveals the truth about Michael Sussman one by one. The first person who filed the response is Rodney Joffe, a tech executive who provided false data to establish secret relations between Trump and Russia. Mr. Joffe was promised a top government job if Hillary Clinton wins the 2016 election. After insisting on maintaining the communication as privileged under the attorney-client relationship, Joffe claimed in the filing that he hired Sussman to advise him on how to share sensitive information about Trump with the government agencies without revealing his identity and saving himself from any legal liability. Joffe also admitted publicly that he hired Sussman to help him out in taking the sensitive information about Trump to the FBI. However, this statement of Joffe directly hits at the reason due to which the case is initiated against Sussman. Because while sharing the false statement about Trump with FBI General Counsel James Baker, Sussman claimed that he was revealing his information not on the behalf of anyone, but as a person who wants to help the country. Okay, this leads us to the second party that is also tangled in its own words, Fusion GPS. By insisting on the same attorney-client privilege, Fusion GPS revealed in the filings they have assisted Sussman and his law firm in some legal matters. However, in 2019, Fusion GPS owner Glenn Simpson and Peter Frisch admitted in their book, Crime in Progress, that the company's main role was to conduct opposition research on Trump and seed those stories with the media. Furthermore, Fusion GPS also claimed in the filings that they were hired by international law firm Perkin Coie to assist in providing legal advice to its client, the Hillary for America Campaign Committee, during the 2016 presidential campaign. Now comes the haunting part. In May 2017, author Christopher Steele revealed in front of a UK court that he was hired and directed by Fusion GPS to push fake Trump and Russia collusion stories with a number of media outlets. Christopher also testified in September 2016 that he shared those false stories in front of a large number of journalists belonging to famous media companies like the Washington Post, Yahoo News, the New Yorker, and CNN, which later published extremely damaging false stories about Trump's secret links to Russia. John Durham claimed that the concept of client-attorney privilege communication fails to exist, as Fusion GPS was busy spreading false stories about Trump rather than giving legal advice to Perkin Coie, for which they were initially hired. And that's it for today, my friends. Don't forget to like and share, and most importantly, join our member site and support the mission to deliver truthful information. I'd rather depend on the generosity of you, people I can trust, than ever be dependent on YouTube again. I'd like to thank you all for spending this time with me, and I'll see you next time.